We've got a little bit of a weird schedule today. The kids are off from school for Eid. So I typically go to the gym on Wednesdays, come back, get a shower, take my oldest to school. But they are going to sleep. So I had a really good conversation with a new client yesterday. I had met her at a workshop that I did on impact, and one of the things we were looking at was jumping jacks. And I typically give some basic cues for group sessions on kind of using breath strategies or, playing with physics or things like that, for just like, hey, stop. Just some basic things to try. And when I work with groups, it's kind of like rules of third. Like a third of the people, it doesn't matter what you give them to do, they'll be fine. A third of the people, they'll respond the way you want to the cue. And a third of the people, it'll make a little bit of change, or they won't. They need something a little bit more individual. And so that's what happened with this person. And she came in and she's like, yeah, stuff that you gave, it kind of worked, but like, I'm not sure. And so the cue we were talking about was an exhalation cue. And this happens all the time with people that take group or online programs, and they're given a cue to exhale. And again, in this case, it was like during jumping jacks. So it's just a blow. But when they blow, they don't realize that they're blowing really, really hard. It doesn't feel like that to them, but they are, and they're using a lot of obliques when the intent is just to get deeper abs first and then other stuff. So instead of drawing in automatically, they're actually pushing out, which is the opposite, which actually wouldn't make the cue work because you're doing the opposite of what you think you're doing. And so the only way truly to know that, like fact, it just is, because you can't feel the transverse abdominal, you can't palpate it feeling from the outside. It's too deep, it's too subtle, you can't. If you're going to feel anything, you're going to feel obliques. And so we put her on ultrasound, we changed her cue, went back, and it made a big difference. And so this comes up a lot where we have this huge option of virtual classes or Peloton, because it gives us structure and gives us guidance and something to do. And lots of times those instructors will give us general cues. And if you get frustrated that cue is not working for you, please know that it also may be lost a little bit in translation. Their group classes, you can't give a cue that's going to work for every single person. It's just not possible. You're going to give cues that work for the majority of people, but not for everybody. And that's where obviously individual therapy comes in, and my expertise and whatnot. And so this just goes to say, if you are doing one of those classes, great. I love that you're finding something to make it work, because that's 99% of the battle. That was another client yesterday. I'm just like, I just want you to do something. I don't care what it is. We just need to get in that habit. New mom, third kid. I'm like, we just need to establish, and then we'll figure out what happens after that. But the moral of the story is, if you get frustrated and you're doing what they're telling you to do and you're like, it's not working, that's okay. That might not be the right cue for you, or how your body is responding to that cue may be completely the opposite of what the intention was. So, and that's not it's nobody's fault. It's just recognizing it sooner than later and then being able to do something about it. So if that's you and you have a cue and you're like, I don't know, shoot me a DM. I'm happy to kind of walk you through it, because there are a lot of common cues that get mixed up. Happy to do that. So it's going to be a weird day. Kids are home. I'm still going to try and get some work done. But Abby's going to get her walking. She's in there under the flowers. But yeah, share your cues with me that you have trouble with or you don't. Let me know.